Hello dudes and dudesses, and welcome to yet another video about iron farms. Yes, I do love my iron farms, and once again I needed for a specific build in my reboot world a skyscraper sized iron farm. And yes, I am in my Christmas clothes, and it will be weird if you're watching this in March or in the summer, but deal with it. So this is what we're going to be talking about today, this contraption here. But let's start off with something else. Last week, we were in one of my iron testing worlds. Last week, I released an update to the nano iron farm. I designed a new smaller part where the villagers once again will stand in the middle when they get out of bed. And I redesigned the spawning platform a bit. So if you don't recognize this from the previous designs, it's because it used to be like the iron tower, and I have designed one of these as well, so it will look and fit into the iron tower design. But this is basically the design of my small nano farm, and this is when you make it like the old iron tower if you need that size, that footprint. But the thing with this farm is it produces around 3.8 stacks an hour. And the reason is it takes quite a while for the golems to die. They're flushed, they need to burn, and you can see it takes up against 15 seconds for them to die. And if I wanted to use these kind of farms, spaced out with the necessary space, I would need 160 blocks of space, and that wouldn't really fit in my idea of a build. So I designed this. It's basically the same idea, just bigger. And there's a central collection point, and that's another wish I want, a central collection point for this iron farm. And initially I had the zombies stationary, but all four kind of spawned at the same time, and they were clustered in the middle, and it took time for them to die. So I tried this out with having them going back and forth in rails, but still it actually decreased the spawnings, and still the flushing time and the burn time is quite long. So I wanted to improve the efficiency, and then of course I went to the classic design with letting the iron golems drop. So I have these two layers, and the flushing platform is the same as you see, and the iron parts, the villager parts, are the same, and they go like this and they drop, and as soon as they're 8 blocks away, the villagers are ready to spawn a new one in 30 seconds. So this works great, except, and this is basically the standard design, I believe it's all back to Doc M77 in 1.14.4 or something. But when you drop them like this in a central way, what happens is that the lower parts will actually register the golem falling down, and they will not spawn. They will actually delay their own spawning. So sometimes, yeah, there you got it. The top one will actually spawn a new one before the lower one has spawned any golems. So normally what you do when you have this kind of design is that you take the golems out to the side, so you're sure that there's an 8 block space between them, so they won't be registered. But it wouldn't work in my idea of a central design. It would simply be much too big to be in a skyscraper, and you would have a problem with central collecting area as well. So enter this, and you probably, if you know my channel, know this design, recognize this design from my nano guardian farm. It's basically the similar design. So what we achieve with this is that we have iron golems spawning on each layer, and they're not dropped, and there is some flushing time, but they very quickly go into the portals and reduce the time that the villager pods can summon a new iron golem. So it's pretty fast. It's faster than the standalone iron tower design that I showed you in the beginning, and it's pretty cool as well as to the central collection area. If we go down here, and excuse me, I have to turn down this sound in the video after this, you can see there's just one hopper collection spot, and the iron is like magically coming through the portals, and dropping into that hopper right there. Just see it coming in a steady flow as the iron golems die. Now let's look at it from below. It's quite easy. You actually have, as you guessed, a hopper right there and a wall, so it will stop it. And just to make sure, we have a hopper minecart under the central part of the portal if something got stuck there, and then the iron is collected right down here. And it comes in, as I said, in a pretty steady flow. The way this works is pretty interesting, because the iron golems, they will go through the portal. And when they go through the portal to the nether, they will load the portal in there. So let's just go in there. And oh my god. In here I have this small design that you probably also know from the Iron Dwarf that I built with portals and a pillager in the middle. The walls are there to make sure they don't glitch out. Then you have a 2 wide gap and doors, but mostly they're just pushed out. They don't even walk out. They're just pushed out into lava where they die. And let's see it again. Even though we're on this side, it's still going on the other side. And the beauty about this is because the other side is loaded as well, because the iron is pushed through. In spectator mode, you can see it's just a hole. They're standing on hoppers, and there's a layer of lava in the height of their head. That's basically it. But you can actually go into the nether and the farm will still be working. If we go down here, it's basically a chunk loader design. If we go here, the iron is led into this chest with 2 hoppers, so it's a fast output. And actually this don't need to be a dispenser, it could be a dropper. And then we just have a comparator that's looking when there's anything in it, and then a hopper clock, fast hopper clock, and a wall. And the iron is spat through, and it's a 3 wide portal as well, so we can actually make it line up with the portals that the iron golems come through. And let's go down here, and you can see it's exactly the same size portal, just lower. And let's go back to the overworld. Oh, that's loud. And that's the smart thing about this farm, I think. The farm size is only 15 by 15 wide, meaning I can actually do a skyscraper in my world that will fit it. Maybe I will do it only 3 high, but the rates of this is 4.25 stacks per pot per hour. That's always what you got to look at, and it could be higher. I mean, some of the drop farms have higher rates, but they are not nearly as compact. I'm going to be building this farm in my reboot world, as I said, and my good friend Voltrox on his channel will be doing a block by block tutorial for you guys soon, and then he will actually be helping me in my survival world to build this, so you can see this in a reboot episode as well. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm trying to get everything ready, all the resources. And let me tell you about this, because that's actually important for this farm as well. I designed it to be easy to make in survival. There's always 9 blocks between these portals, and in survival you will be building it up massively, so you would have a central core. And the way you would bring in the villagers is that you would not do the collection area until the very last, and then you would have a central water column where you will push them up layer by layer. Then you actually only need 2 villagers to start off with, and then on each layer you will breed them up, and you will take out the corners. That doesn't need to be there. You will take out the corners, and then you will take out some of these glass that are holding them back as well. Like this, and then they will walk into their beds themselves. At least that's the idea. So if we, you see now he's walking out, and if we make it night, you can see they all go to bed, and then you can, box them in, and they're in place. And the row of glass around the middle, that is 13 by 13, is just so they can walk around from one pot to another when you breed them up. And when you get to the next level, you just take the chute up and then all the way up, and then the zombies, my god, it's the same thing. You bring them up with a water elevator, and then you just put in blocks so that we'll have to walk out here, and then you put in a trapdoor and you lead them out there and they fall in the hole. So that's it. I really hope you liked it, and if you've been watching the video so far, help me find a name for this iron farm. Do write suggestions in the comments, and I'll hope to see you in the next one, and do look out for Voltrux's video. Bye!